Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to College Football Live. I'm Mikey Edwards. Hopefully, Jimmy Armpriester joins me in a moment. Should make sure he's set up. Now, we have quite a bit of college football action. It is in full swing. We had a lot of big wins last week, a lot of big wins this week, and a couple real good close matchups. First, let's get to... I actually want to get to the start from one conference and go through them all. So let's go to the ACC. ACC action has not been real good, actually. There was actually one, I think, conference game, but the rest were interconference. So let's get to it. First off, it was the Miami Hurricanes versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. Oh, really? I wish my good friend Jimmy Armpriester was here because he would know about OSU. He is a big Ohio State fan, but I'm not gonna tell you all about Ohio State. I'll have him tell you all about it. But it was the 36-24 win. I'll have him tell you details when he gets here, if he does show up. And currently, right now, ACC's and the SEC and the Pac-10, I believe, are in a showdown. It's Virginia versus USC. USC up at halftime, 14-7. All points scored in the second quarter. We'll have more with that in a moment. The lone actual conference game was Duke-Wake Forest, and that was a real high-scoring game, 54-48. That almost looks like a women's college basketball score. High-scoring. It was actually tied at halftime, and then Wake just came out, outscored that Duke in the second half, 19-13, and that was the difference. James Madison puts an upset on Virginia Tech. JMU actually 2-0 on the season. Va Tech 0-2. A 5-point differential and a last quarter touchdown to win the game for the J-Mads, 21-16. Georgia Tech ends up, number 15 Georgia Tech drops Kansas 28-25. Georgia Tech outscored Kansas in the fourth quarter. However, Kansas was the only one to put points up in the third quarter, so that pretty much is your differential. Kansas, very steady stream of points, 7, 7, 7, and 7 each quarter. And both those teams are 1-1 on the year. Wake Forest is 2-0. Ohio State is 2-0. I'll get to that along with Terrell Pryor. I don't know what it is, but QB, there are a lot of running QBs right now in college football. There was one from Nebraska, one from Michigan, and Ohio State that have just constantly been running, and they are putting big numbers up in the rushing department, and that's good, especially with a new crop of football players that are coming in draft classes. So that is definitely going to be good for them. Also, Boston College ends up defeating Kent State 26-13. I know Boston College is an ACC team, so there's at least one ACC win. Well, 2 ACC wins, but the other one was actually a conference game. Oklahoma defeats, just pounds on Florida State. Number 10 doing number 17. The Sooners dropped the Seminoles 30 points. It's 47-17. Florida State ends up being 1-1. A lot of these ACC teams are going to be 1-1. Only one or two of them are 2-0. Clemson is the third team in the 2-0 on the season. They beat Presbyterian College 58-21. Maryland crushes Morgan State. That's a ACC win, 62-3. Didn't we have a 62-3 win in high school football last night? I think we did. No, it was 62-0. North Carolina State over University of Central Florida, or UCF for short, 28-21. North Carolina State ends up 2-0, being the fifth ACC team to win. So pretty much it's like a half and half, I think, with them. So that's definitely good news. And the third quarter is going to be getting underway for Virginia and USC in just a second. USC is ranked 16th. But let's move to the Big 12 quickly. Of course, Kansas was that one. Is a Big 12 team. Nebraska, who will be going to the Big 10, is still a Big 12 team. They beat Idaho 38-17. Cal U beat Colorado 52-7. Sooners are a Big 12 team. As I mentioned, they won 47-17. Iowa defeats Iowa State. 35-7. Missouri crushes McNeese State 50-6. Cowboys of Oklahoma State beat Troy by just a field goal, 41-38. Baylor crushes Buffalo 34-6. Texas A&M defeats Louisiana Tech 48-16. Texas over Wyoming 34-7. Kansas State over Missouri State 48-24, and Texas Tech over New Mexico 52-17. Let's cover some Big East action for you. We had Connecticut toppling Texas Southern 62-3. Cincinnati over Indiana State 40-7. Florida over South Florida 38-14. Florida in the Big East now? They used to be SEC. Something happened. Pitt over New Hampshire 38-16. Louisville over Eastern Kentucky 23-13. Washington over Cuse 41-20. And Rutgers defeats Florida International 19-14. I think maybe a couple field goals in the fourth quarter pull Rutgers past FIU in action. Now, Big Ten.
Just listen to my favorite tune.
Ohio State, of course, defeating Miami. Jimmy Armpriester will be back, hopefully in just a moment, to give you a lot of Big Ten news. Actually, I might leave Big Ten for last, considering I am the staff that we're going to have on College Football Live is mainly Big Ten. So we will save that for last, because, of course, besides SEC or Pac-10, that's really one of the big conferences. Excuse me for a moment. Conference USA we're moving to. Now, East Carolina defeats Memphis. Memphis 0-2. They're more known for their basketball than their football. 49-27. Tulsa over Bowling Green 33-20. Rice nudging out North Texas 32-31. Prairie Valley A&M loses to Southern Miss 34-7. Of course, North Carolina defeating UCF. UCF is part of CUSA 28-21. UAB over SMU, well, losing to SMU, pardon me. That's a Conference USA game, 28-7. UAB started off strong, but fell to the wayside by halftime. And Ole Miss over Tulane, 27-13. A couple of games from last night. Last night, West Virginia over Marshall and Houston over UTEP to finish off the Conference USA schedule. And that USC-Virginia game is underway in the third quarter. Some independents, of course. Notre Dame is under independent. Army is, and Navy. Those are the only three schools that I know of that are independents. Army lost to Hawaii 31-28. Navy defeats Georgia South 13-7. And Michigan and Notre Dame had a nail-biter. A last-minute touchdown by Michigan, and of course, it's the quarterback. 28-24. I'll talk with Jimmy about our QBs who've just been strong this year on the ground as well as in the air. Terrell Pryor, Robinson, and the quarterback from Nebraska. I don't remember his name. Forgive me, those of you who may be watching in Nebraska. In the MAC conference, that's the Mid-Atlantic Conference, Gardner-Webb defeats Akron 38-37 in overtime. East Michigan loses to Miami of Ohio 28-21. Kent State, of course, losing to Boston College. Toledo over Ohio. That's a MAC conference game, 20-13. Bowling Green, of course, losing to Tulsa, 33-20. Baylor defeats Buffalo, 34-6. I think I might have mentioned that. Liberty defeats Ball State, 27-23. Northern Illinois over North Dakota, 23-17. And Western Michigan over... And finally, Temple defeated Central Michigan in the MAC Conference 13-10. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back to College Football Live after this.